Well, good evening and welcome to the Easton Film Festival Presents. I'm Lauren Swartz, your hostess, and I'm smiling because my producer in the sound booth has asked me to spend a few minutes telling you about my memories of foreign films and my favorite foreign films, and I'm laughing at people's perceptions of foreign films based on the fact that you have to read the subtitles and how complicated it can be. And really, foreign films have come into so much more of the mainstream now because the talent that's beyond the U.S. really has grown tremendously. I think the first foreign film that I remember saying was my favorite was Das Boot, believe it or not, which wasn't that long ago, because I think before then I didn't have the patience to read the subtitles. Since then, my eyes have been opened, particularly from the Easton Film Festival Committee's presentations last year when we had our film club and we went through foreign films from all over the world. And many of those were films I had not seen, although I had heard about them. And it was beyond the Sophia Loren foreign films and the Ingmar Bergman foreign films, and so that was particularly nice. That's one of the things that I really enjoyed most about being in the Easton Film Festival and part of the committee is the film series, film club that we run on Friday nights at Andrew's Bakery at 7 o'clock every other Friday night, brings free of charge to anyone who wants to come films of note. Mr. Ed Hans, who's a very popular teacher over at Oliver Ames High School, made the movie choices. This year we're looking at American directors. Each of the directors, we're examining 4 films, four pieces of their work. So we're looking at Billy Wilder, John Ford, Howard Hawks, and Alfred Hitchcock. And so you get to sit and watch the film free of charge, like I said. Then at the end of the evening, the group sits around and talks about the films, analyzes them. Hopefully, you know, the right elements you pull out of the film like I do and like Mr. Hans does as well. It's a really nice way to be a part of the film community, to feel, you know, someplace to go on a Friday night that doesn't cost any money, and it's a great thing for families to do. So I encourage you to keep an eye out in the Easton Journal or on our website, eastonfilmfestival.com, or even if you go over to Andrew's Bakery, there's a posting that shows all the films that are coming up. And I encourage you, it's a wonderful way to enlarge your film library mentally and enjoy some good films and some good classics. So that's my story of foreign film life. The Easton Film Festival's most popular activity that we do every year is a competition where residents of Easton and Stonehill College students can submit a piece of work in either drama, documentary, or this year original music video to be judged, and the prize winners are cash prizes sponsored by the Northeastern Savings Bank. So this is no rinky-dink activity anymore. This is something where your hard work is rewarded on a cash basis. There is no requirement for age, for experience, any of those things. So it's open to completely everybody, and we encourage everyone to submit films, even if you just have a fun time playing with your video camera. We have all kinds of interesting things that show up every year, and we particularly enjoy jurying them. We have a premiere day that we run all of the films at the high school on a particular Saturday, so you can look for the schedule of that as well. Then, of course, we will show our award winners at our Effie Awards presentation that we hold at Stonehill College in June. And then here on this show that runs throughout the year, we will bring the filmmakers in, highlight their films if they're able to come in, and further examine each person's piece of work as it stands alone. So that's what we're doing here tonight. Filmmakers of Easton. This was a submission from 2003 by Kevin Martis. This film is entitled The Shocker. I'm not going to discuss anything about it until you folks at home have seen it, and then when we come back, we can talk about it together. So without further ado, I would like to present to you The Shocker by Kevin Martis.
Does everyone else? You can just walk it off and forget about it? You're freaking done. Life is over. It's only a matter of time before they catch you.
Come on in.
How you doing? Are you Detective Riley?
Yes, I am.
Hi. Alright, well, my name is Bruce Peterson.
Nice to meet you, Bruce.
Do you want to take a seat?
Go ahead.
Alright, thanks. Sorry, I'm a little distraught right now.
There's nothing I can help you with?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Alright. I know you were involved in the, suicide, or supposed suicide, of, Lance Martis, and... Alright, well, basically, I'd just like to show you a few things. Alright, look at these. Look at these college essays.
Yeah.
I mean, read them. This kid, he has high hopes. And, alright, speaking from a best friend point of view, he was excited to go to college. I mean, New England Tech, Columbia, even Penn State, come on. All these colleges. Read them. He had ambitions, he had goals.
The thing is, sir, we have found the lacerations around his neck is from rope, and we found him hanging in his basement. And there's nobody else around except for his fingerprints on the rope. So the only conclusion we have right now is a suicide, sir.
But, just read one of these. He had a future ahead of him. I mean, this kid, he was a great student.
I don't understand it either, sir.
Great athlete. Read this.
That's just the way it is right now, sir. I'm sorry for your loss, but right now it's just hard to come up with any other situation besides suicide. So.
This doesn't make any sense. This makes no sense.
All right.
He would never have killed himself.
But you know what? Since you've known him for a long time, and since you seem really sincere about this, I'll do my best to pull out some more facts about this, but I can't come up with anything and I wouldn't get your hopes up, because right now the evidence is overwhelming that your friend committed suicide. So...
I don't mean to jump to any conclusions, but there's no way that someone could have rigged this? No one could have set it up or anything?
It doesn't look that way. Alright, well, Bruce, I'll be looking into this a little bit more for you, but I'm not sure how much I can do, but I hope you have a nice day.
Alright, well, I guess I can't argue with that.
Keep in touch.
Dude, one, right?
Keep walking, buddy.
Jesus, go on, let it go.
All right.
Happy New Month.
Sure.
Nice.
Too bad you can't call your friend anymore or anything.
Don't even bring him up anymore. I'm serious.
It's too bad.
Jay, get the
It's
hell
not
out.
like you care
Jay,
about lives or
Jay,
anything.
get the hell out of here, all right? Jesus.
Oh yeah. Leave me alone, my friend was just killed.
You're the one who killed him.
What did you just say? What did you? Come on. What did you just say?
I said you're the one who killed him. Everyone knows you did.
No, you wouldn't.
You know.
Go home.
You just keep walking away.
What? What do you want? What do you want? Admit to it? Throw myself in? What?
Think what's coming here.
Maybe you know how I feel about that. You know,
Bad enough with scumbags like you are.
I'm out of here. I'm done.
No, keep walking.
I'm done. Oh, Officer Riley, I have to talk to you right now. Please, just...
What's wrong?
Okay, alright, I know I'm bothering you again. I saw you, what, like an hour ago?
Yep.
Alright, well, I was walking home, and this kid, his name's Jay, he, continuously harasses me. He knows what happened. Anyways, so I'm walking home, right? And this kid, Jay, he pulls up. This kid has been bugging me forever about, you know, the incident that happened earlier with me and my friend Lance. He continuously harasses me about us hitting that girl. And he leaves like these subtle hints like he's gonna get revenge or he's gonna... I don't know. The kid is freaking me out. Like, I don't even know what to say. I just feel like he's gonna do something.
Well, I'm not sure what I can do for you there. I can look into his background and check up on him, but
You can't, like, keep an eye on him or something? I mean,
No.
constantly in school, just right now, like an hour ago.
everybody has their legal rights in this country, and there's some that we cannot violate.
Yeah, but you gotta hear what this kid says. I mean, he's like, he'll say stuff like, oh, you'll be sorry for what you did. Stuff like that, you know? There's no way you can check into it.
You haven't had any other threats like that from common people just growing up at all?
Not like this. Not where there's something behind. I mean, he's referring to that incident that happened.
That was a pretty tragic incident.
Wow, yeah, I like to forget it, but with this kid, I don't know what to do about this.
Alright, well,
What I'm saying is, you don't think he could be tied into this?
right now the
suicide?
evidence has not changed. It's still mandatory suicidal evidence.
But even from what he says, there's not.
The best thing I can do is for maybe you can keep an eye on him and just see what he's doing after school maybe sometimes, but we cannot put ourselves in that area. And if you find something mysterious or if you find something that alleges him to the suspicion of your thoughts, then just come back and we'll see what we can do. But until then, we need evidence that he has something to do with it before we can start getting involved.
So that's all you can do?
Yes.
Alright. Sorry to bother you again.
Take it easy, Lewis.
good?
Yeah.
So I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions because I'm wondering what because many of the issues were unanswered in the film, which is good. And I like a film that leaves me thinking what would have happened and what were they thinking and that kind of stuff. So anyway, let's go back to looking at The Shocker by Kevin Martis as a body of work in terms of a storyline. I think it was a very clear story that's conveyed by an excellent use of dialogue. I think the acting was very good. I think everything was, the sound was very well done, so that we knew what was going on. We knew what the people were thinking. We knew what they were feeling. And there was a lot of action that went on between characters to try to get the story developed. And this is really good writing. Kevin or any movie director has to be able to put all these elements together, and when you start taking it apart and you look at each one of them, at least I enjoy a film much better after I've thought about it and gone through the reasons that I liked it. So the storyline itself was compelling. There was a mystery involved, there was psychological drama, and I think it was conveyed very well through primarily the use of dialogue, but also an actor is only as good as the lines that are written for them. And in this case, I think that the writing was very well done. And we, as an audience, are pulled very nicely into the story. We have a vested interest in seeing how it's going to turn out. And, we want the story to keep going. I would have liked the story to keep going as well, because I do like when a filmmaker ends the film before everything has been tied up, because it leaves you hanging. I like that that sense of unfinished business. In this case, I think it worked very well. So that the storyline as a piece separate from anything else, I think does an excellent job, and I hope you feel the same way about it. Kudos to the cinematography. The camera shots, there was a huge variety of camera shots. There was exterior, there was interior. There was wide pans, there were close-ups, there were quick cuts to stuff. I think he did a wonderful job of combining and implementing all of them. So again, congratulations go out to Kevin, because I think he has the makings of a good cinematographer. I think he made some great choices, some great clips. In some instances, we saw the scene from two different angles, and that's important, and that's really a point of view kind of judgment call. I think he did a great job, and so again, congratulations in that area. I think the pace, while it's a combination of the editing and the storyline, it's still almost a separate entity to itself. If you're a frequent tuner in of this show, pace is something that that's kind of my thorn in my side. I hate it when movies go slow. I hate it when you're sitting there looking at your watch. How long have I been sitting here? Or how long has this film been going on? I hate that. That's my real pet peeve. In this case, the pace was, I think, very well executed. The movie flowed. The movie moved me along from scene to scene, and my interest continued. I was captivated. I wanted to see what the denouement, the highlight of the film was, and we're able to see that at the end. So again, I was very happy with the pacing of it. I think along the same lines, things that we don't appreciate, how challenging exterior shots are, how, in terms of sound and wind noises, crackling the leaves. They were, filmed in a season where there was, so that any movement of anybody else off camera was going to be heard, as well as airplanes flying over, cars driving by. Our young filmmakers don't have the advantages that a Steven Spielberg has or a Martin Scorsese, where you can have planes rerouted when you're filming something. We had to, we have to deal with it as it is, and I think that that's a particular challenge of exterior shots. This was done very well. The exterior shots, there was night exterior shots, which are particularly challenging. They happen to have used a very nice walking area where at one point the camera was stationary because the gentlemen were walking in a circular area, and then the camera had to follow. That was a great choice of set. I took particular note of how the cameramen framed when the two of them were having their conversation, and there were these two parallel lines, the one man following the other and being annoying and saying, "Go away," and they moved through the frames as on parallel opposite sides. And that was, whether it was intentional or not, a very powerful visual image of two opposing people walking on really opposite ends of the spectrum from each other, moving along. So I thought that was just, it was prime, and I loved it. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, exterior shots. Moving into the interior shots have a whole different challenge, and whereas they're easier in some areas because you're not dealing with weather or airplane noise or wind, those kinds of things, you're still dealing with artificial lighting. You're still dealing with sounds, walking sounds, door sounds, furniture sounds, carpeting sounds, those kinds of things. But primarily lighting is the biggest challenge in interiors. And as you can see in this film, he did a very nice job of lighting the policeman's office, even the more muted lighting when he was in the living room scenes. That's key. Lighting can set such a tone, particularly in interiors, but as we know, if you've ever seen the making of a film when they're doing exteriors and they have big reflector boards or something, the lighting outside needs to be crucially examined as well. So, again, the lighting in this one was done very well. Some other films that we've discussed in the past, lighting isn't always as successfully complementary to the film. In this case, I think he did a great job with the lighting. I think teenagers many times have a challenge when they are behaving like adults and adult actors. In this case, I believe these teens did a fabulous job of conversing like adults, conversing in the lingo of cops, of concerned friends. I think anger. It's hard to get beyond the acting of the project and to be really feeling it. And I think these actors were able to descend to a different level and really be acting. And even if some of their dialogue was ad-libbed, it was still extremely effective and very well done. So, a failure of any one of these elements would be something that would sit wrong with you when you're watching films. If you didn't understand the dialogue, or if the costumes looked wrong, or if the setting was off, any of those kinds of things, you would be disturbed by it, and it would bother you as to a whole film, and that thing would keep cropping up. And in the case of The Shocker, and the whole body of work by Kevin and his partners, I think that you're able, as a critical viewer at home, to see that he was able to, and if this was a school project, to really take a very mature and professional attitude towards producing a film. There was a beautiful use of a storyline, a beautiful use of continuity and editing, and those are the things that I think he was most successful at. Again, to take apart the film, to make note of the sound, the pacing and the cinematography, the editing are also very crucial, and those are not noticeable when you enjoy the piece of work, but very noticeable when you yourself are at home trying to make a film. So congratulations again to Kevin and his crew. This was a delightful submission from a couple of years ago, and I hope that they have moved on to bigger and better things, and we're happy to be able to feature their film today. So as a reminder, the Easton Film Festival has its finger in many pots. We sponsor our every other week film club that premieres this year American Directors at Andrew's Bakery, 7 p.m. on Friday, every other Friday evening. We've been looking at Howard Hawks, Billy Wilder, Alfred Hitchcock, John Ford movies. We look at 4 of each of their movies, one a night, and over the course of the time, compare and contrast the filmmakers. Stay around after each premiering of a film, because the group does talk about that. It's led by Mr. Ed Hands, who's a very popular teacher over at the high school, and works very hard on the Easton Film Festival Committee as well. The annual film competition this year, submissions are due in May. They will be judged the end of May and also premiered shortly thereafter with our award ceremony held in June. I encourage you to submit either dramas, documentaries, or original music videos. There are large cash prizes this year, sponsored by the Northeastern Savings Bank, so we thank them for their support and their indulgence in the film community here. As well, keep an eye out for our next Film Jam, which is our quick weekend-long fun film competition. It's a team competition. You draw a film genre out of a hat, a genre being Western, drama, romance, film noir, and that you must make a film of no more than 5 minutes in length on that style of film. As well, you draw a line of dialogue out of another hat, and that line of dialogue must be incorporated into your film as well. Lines of dialogue, or their famous lines of dialogue, Make My Day, the Dirty Harry movies, I'll Be Back from the Terminator movies, those kinds of things. It's a lot of fun. If you like making films, or you think you like making films, I encourage you to come and attend our next Film Jam, because it's a great way to get started. So please check out our website for all information about the Easton Film Festival. It is eastonfilmfestival.com. Also, the Easton Journal has articles frequently about our film club and deadlines for submissions and stuff. On behalf of the entire Easton Film Festival Committee, my sound man, Bill Ames, our happily helpful director here at Comcast Studios 9, Robin Souza. Thanks to ClearPoint Communications, I'm Lauren Swartz. Good night.